Hello everyone. Hey guys, it's Scott from scottmillerguitar.com. Thanks for tuning in. Guys, what we're doing today is just what I played, major scales. We're going to talk specifically about how to build a major scale. It's a common question I get at in-person lessons and email. I'm going to give you a simple 4-step process I teach my students, and they usually leave those lessons saying, wow, I finally get it. This is not going to show you how to play patterns across the neck. Other videos here on my channel do that. Let me say before I launch into how to build a major scale, one thing for the guitar player. Okay guys, our friends who play piano, if you ask them to play middle C, you have the C in the middle of the keyboard, they're going to find this pitch, this sound, this note, but it's in one place only. That's what's important. For the guitar player, the guitarist can play that same note in multiple places. I just found 5 places to play the same C note. In some cases, look at this E note. This is the E above middle C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I have an acoustic today, not my electric, and I found a harmonic up here, but 6 places to play the exact same E note, this range, not this range, and not this range. So please remember, as a guitar player, when I'm teaching you scales or when you're learning scales, yes, you can play single string scales. You can do that on every single string. I can go from the lowest open note to the highest fret. I'll just give you one string. And you can do that on all 6 strings. You can play patterns across the neck. You can do some fretted notes, some open strings. It is endless, guys. What I would love for you to do, if we were doing in-person lessons, I would teach you go from the lowest string open to the highest fretted note to play in the key of. I would say let's play the key of C and not think of it in terms of just 5 common fingerings, but the entire neck is C. Does that make sense? Let me give you an example. I'll do this, and hopefully this works out well on the spot for me, trying to get it done. I'm going to play from the lowest open string to the highest fret on the guitar, duplicating shapes. Watch this. I'm going to go across the neck, not up the string. Here's an idea. If we were playing in the key of C, this is what I would want you to glean from lessons like this. For time's sake, I'll descend the neck shape. And I'll do this one. Frets are getting tighter. I'll give you one more example actually. I'm going to go up and I'm just going to stop at the 12th fret for time's sake. But look at this, guys. I'm playing every single note in the key of C on every single string. Don't have my glasses, guys. Okay, does that make sense to you guys? That I hope that when you're learning scales, keys, whether it's major scales, melodic minor, harmonic minor, diminished whole tone, pentatonic, you're not equating it necessarily with the shape. Man, you're thinking the key of C is the entire neck. That's what I want you to glean from this concept. Okay, let's talk about the 4 easy steps for creating a major scale. Step number 1, guys, every major scale begins on its namesake. So what does that mean? The namesake is just simply the very note, the beginning note, the tonic, the root, the keynote of the key. I should say the root is often the lowest note in a chord. I should say the tonic, the first note in a scale. So the namesake of the key of C major, you guessed it, it's a C note. What if I ask you, what is the namesake of the key of F sharp? You would say F sharp, right? If I said, what is the namesake of the key of D flat? You would say D flat, right? So step number 1, every major scale begins on its namesake. A C scale starts on C, a G scale starts on G, and an F scale starts on F. That's super cool. I should say super clear. It's also cool, right? But it's super clear to all students, okay? Secondly, every single scale ends on the same note, but twice as high. Now that phrase, twice as high, is kind of hard to understand for some students. I'm saying if I'm playing a C note here, I'm not going to start, obviously, the scale on this C note and end here. I'm going to do this. That is what we call the octave. So if I have this C, I'm going up to this C. I can also go down an octave. I can start on this C and go down to the C. Let me give you an example. Here's C up to C. I'll go C down to C. Okay, does that make sense? So, step number 1, every major scale begins on its namesake in the key of C, starts on C. Secondly, step 2, every scale ends on the same note it started with, albeit twice as high, which we call the octave. If I were giving an example on one string just to show you the architecture of the scale, I would start on this C, step number 1, and I would end on this C, step number 2. Is that clear? Okay, step 3, guys, is probably the most misunderstood concept. This is it. every major scale must have one of each of the letters in our music system. What are the letters we use? A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Okay, so that is why some scales have those unique sharps and those unique flats, like E sharp is just F, B sharp is C, C flat is B, and F flat is E. And some students will say, well, there's no such thing, Scott, as a C flat or an F flat or E sharp or B sharp. I'm going to show you a couple examples where I'll give you a couple of the sharp keys, those sharps that contain those notes and why we use them, and those keys that contain those flats and why we use them, just for correctness. So a C scale, by the way, would go C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, right? Contains all the natural letters. Maybe let me give you the scale formula first, and then I'll give you a couple of those sharp keys and flat keys, and then we'll end this video with us playing the C scale together. Is that cool? Okay, so here's the formula. After you have started the scale on its namesake, C, in the key of C. Secondly, after you've ended it on its namesake up an octave, C. After you've made sure that you have these 7 letters, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, here is the formula, guys. The scale formula for every major key, major scale, goes whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. And if you've seen my other videos, we've talked about on the guitar, a whole step is just 2 frets in either direction, right? And a half step is 1 fret in either direction. So if I go to the C note, which happens to be, I'm playing it, again, I could play it anywhere, but I'm going to the 5th string, 3rd fret, from the 1st to the 2nd note in the scale has to be a whole step or 2 frets. Okay? From the 2nd to the 3rd has to also be a whole step. The 3rd to the 4th is a half step. 4 to 5 is a whole step. 5 to 6 is a whole step. 6 to 7 is a whole step. And 7 to 8 is a half step. So it goes whole, half, whole, half. Okay, that's just a formula you commit to memory. Whole, half, whole, half. Okay, let me give you an example. And again, guys, it doesn't matter how I play it, meaning up a string, across the neck. I'm going to give you 2 of the more, 2 of those keys with those, funny sharps in it. So this is going to be F sharp major. F sharp major has an E sharp in it, and everyone says it's F. Of course, I've never said, and nor will I ever say, E sharp and B sharp and C flat and F flat on stage with my friends in a recording session. It's really for a lesson like this, writing a book in a college classroom, things like that. Let me play for you the F sharp major scale, okay? F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp. So why would I not say F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, F, F sharp? If the rules dictate that every scale has to have one of each letter, where's the E? If I did this, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, that's a scale. That's called Mixolydian mode, but it's not a major scale. Watch this. F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp. And then I'll jump to the C sharp scale, which has the E sharp and a B sharp. Yes, B sharp is C, but that's what we'd call it. C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, and C sharp. Let me give you 2 flat keys, and we'll wrap up this lesson by playing together. I'm going to go down to the same F sharp note, but now I'm going to call this key the key of G flat, which will have a C flat in it. G flat, A flat, B flat, C flat. I wouldn't say G flat, A flat, B flat, B, D flat. Where's the C, right? One of each letter. G flat, A flat, B flat, C flat, D flat, E flat, F, and G flat. And lastly, I'll do C flat major, which has C flats and F flats in it. C flat, D flat, E flat, F flat. G flat, A flat, B flat, C flat. Okay, guys. Hopefully now you have a better understanding, if you didn't before, why, scales are spelled the way they are for correctness, okay? Let's end this session with playing together. I want you to go with me, if you would. Take your first finger of your left hand. Let's start on the 5th string, 3rd fret. And we're just going to play, we'll do half notes, like we'll strike a note and go 1, 2, change, 2, change, 2. Does that make sense? So we're going to start on the 5th string, 3rd fret. Let's map out the frets for you, and then we'll play together. It's going to go 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. Okay, you guys ready? We're playing a C major scale together on 1 string, learning this whole step, half step business. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 15. Let's go descending, guys. Let's go 15, 14. We have 12, 10, 8, 7, 5, and 3. Guys, there you have it. hey, this video I'm going to follow up in just a few moments and check this out on how to build a major pentatonic as well as how to build a major blues scale. So check those out. Guys, if you haven't subscribed yet to this channel, please just click subscribe above. And I offer a free ebook for any of the YouTubers out there. Just click on the link below. It'll take you to our website and you can get a free guitar book that I wrote for you. Perhaps by the time this video or you're seeing it, maybe I have several ebook choices you can choose from. Lots of good stuff there, guys. Thank you for your support. We'll see you next time.